Well, it's official. Manchester United have taken their stand and they've this morning gone ahead obviously sack Erik ten Hag, and it was really inevitable. Let's all admit it has been really inevitable, and every time I've been trying to obviously flip the coin and obviously have to see to it that I say why I think Ten Hag is gonna be sacked and why I think he should stay. People have been like, you are defending Erik ten Hag, and I was like, why don't people watch my entire videos? Because if you remember, in the game we played against Tottenham Hotspur, you know, I came up and told you that Erik ten Hag is sacking himself. You get? And because of the team selection and all the things that he has always gone ahead to do. And I always told you that it's these kind of games that lead to the sacking of the manager. Losing to Liverpool, losing to Spurs might not really see you sacked, but losing to a team like West Ham cannot really spare you. And I think yesterday when I was doing that live stream on the match reaction, I came up and hinted about it, that I cannot come out and say he's really gonna be here, but all I know is the board has to come out and make a decision. And in my own opinion, I thought they could give him until maybe the Leicester City game, because we are going to be playing Leicester City on Wednesday and on Sunday. You know, I think we're playing Chelsea, right? Leicester City, then Chelsea over the weekend. I think they would have wanted to give him such games, but because they believe that Chelsea is strong and that can't be the reason as to why they are going to sack him, I think they've gone ahead obviously come up and really make a decision to really see Erik ten Hag leave the club of Manchester United. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Ruud and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're totally watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Ruud and David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. And finally, that dead man that has been walking has finally died off, and he has been really buried. That is Erik ten Hag. Very many have gone ahead obviously refer to him as a dead man walking, and obviously I think a lot has gone ahead obviously come his way. Very many signals have been signaled to him, but obviously Erik ten Hag, obviously he has his merits, he has his demerits, but all in all, when you are at a club like Manchester United and you are even performing badly than you performed in the opening of last season, then I tell you what, you deserve to be sacked. And I don't think that there is a manager post the Sir Alex Ferguson era that has been backed like Erik ten Hag. The fans have come up and they've gone ahead to obviously find themselves in a position of backing this manager, and they've given him the support. If there is anything that Erik ten Hag will complain about, I don't think it's going to be about the fans. The fans have backed Erik ten Hag during the summer, towards the summer transfer window and towards the end of last season. The people were like, Ten Hag deserves to get a sack. You get? Sorry, the board was like, Ten Hag deserves to get a sack, and the fans anonymously came up and obviously backed him, and the board felt the pressure and they said stay here for some time. And obviously the board have obviously come up and make a decision. How many months later, ever since they appointed him? I think his appointment was confirmed around July, and then here he comes to obviously stay at the club of Manchester United. So smash the like button, comment and share, and let's see who went ahead obviously break the story. The man who broke the story was Fabrizio Romano. He came up and obviously said Manchester United are discussing internally to sack Erik ten Hag with immediate effect. Understand Ruud van Nistelrooy would stay as interim manager if all goes to plan in internal talks. Now, this is what Fabrizio Romano came up and obviously said, you know, and then there came in a man known as David Austin who broke the story. Exclusive. Man United sack Erik ten Hag. 54-year-old Dutchman informed by Man United of the decision this morning. Ruud van Nistelrooy asked to take charge on interim basis, with rest of staff remaining in position for now. So that is a confirmation that came in through from David Austin, and then Fabrizio Romano came up and obviously told us that confirmed Erik ten Hag has been sacked by Man United with immediate effect. As exclusively revealed, Ruud van Nistelrooy will replace ten Hag as interim manager. The decision has been made. He also added and said Ruud van Nistelrooy will be United interim manager, as exclusively revealed earlier. He is the immediate replacement for Erik ten Hag. Decision made internally. That's what we went ahead obviously getting through from the man himself known as Fabrizio Romano. Then official from the website of Manchester United, Ten Hag has left his role as Man United man's first team manager. Eric was appointed in April 2022 and led the club to 2 domestic trophies, winning the Carabao Cup in 2023 and the FA Cup in 2024. They added, we are grateful to Eric Ten Hag for everything he has done during his time with us and wish him well for the future. Ruud van Nistelrooy will take charge of the team as interim head coach, supported by the current coaching team. Whilst a permanent coach is recruited. Now, the most important bit of it all, I want to discuss about, should I go into the replacement first? Let me obviously first give in my input about this, and then I'm going to go about the interim coach and what we call the replacement. Now, let's talk about the decision made. Obviously, last season, in 9 games, when you look at what was on the cards, Eric Ten Hag had more points than the ones he's really having, and he was 8th by the time he played his 9th game of the Premier League season. This time around, he's 14th, and obviously, that raises a lot of alarm into what the club of Manchester United is like. Even if you love Ten Hag like me, there are certain things you come out and really accept that he has to leave. He has to leave, and I don't think that the decision that has been made is really faulty. I really feel like it's the right decision because Eric Ten Hag never gave himself a chance, because lots of things have been in here complaining about them, you know, backing the manager, but at the end of it all, even if you come up and really blame the players, no team will ever sack the players and leave the manager. That is it. It's written all over the wall that the club of Manchester United will obviously have to come up and obviously sack what we call the manager. That is it. The manager will always be the scapegoat. That is it. However good he is, however bad the players are, never at a certain point X will it be the manager leaving, because you can't sack Casemiro, you can't sack Bruno Fernandes, you can't sack Rashford because of the huge contracts they're really having. For the manager to compensate him, it's only £17 million. But for Rashford, when you look at his contract, if he earns £350,000 a week, you know, that is close to a month. That means he's earning a month. That means a month is earning close to £1.5 million. When you multiply it by 12, you get, that means a season that is close to £20 million, and times the 3 years he's left on his contract with, that is £60 million. Bruno is really earning even more. So sacking those players will obviously drain the club and send them into what we call a very, 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 very bad deficit mode. So I think the plan is always simple: sack the manager, and that's what they've always gonna hate to do. So last season, let me really let you know the 9 games and how many points we had. We played Wolverhampton Wanderers, we got 3 points. We lost to Spurs, we are still at 3. We beat Nottingham, those were 6. We lost to Arsenal, meaning that we had 6 points in 4. Then Brighton beat us, meaning that we had 6 points in 5. We beat Burnley, those were 9 points in 6 games. Then we obviously came up and lost to Crystal Palace, you know, those were 7, and those were 9 in 7. Then we went ahead to beat Brentford by 2-1 at Old Trafford, meaning that those were 12 in 8. And we went ahead to obviously lose to Man City. Went ahead to obviously beat Sheffield. That was the 9th game, to obviously gather 15 points at Manchester United. So that means last season we were 8th with 15 points with Eric Ten Hag, and now we are 14th with, I think, is it 9 points with Eric Ten Hag. So I think that with 11 points. So that means he's even 4 points late, and all the factors being laid onto the ground are really sackable. And that is it. You deserve a sack because you've been given all the time. And I think Ten Hag has no one to blame. Ten Hag has no one to blame because he had everything in his hands. For example, I've always complained about him not playing Ugarte. You know, you remember from the international break we got a communication coming in through from the people close to the club that Erik ten Hag has been told to integrate Manuel Ugarte into the team immediately. You get? And guess what he did? He obviously played him off the bench when you're playing against Brentford, and he started him in the game of Fenerbahce. Yesterday, he never gave him all that. And I think the board was like, you're really having a CDM that we bought, and you're not really integrating him into the club. So there are lots of things that have been happening behind those. And with yesterday's game, amidst us creating very many chances, 22 chances, you know, big chances missed in 9 games, that obviously wins you every game. You get that we've always gonna hate to play. And even if you score half of those chances, that means United would have gone ahead, obviously, be having more and more points as considered to the ones we're really having. So I think it was inevitable. It was inevitable. And many of you have been like, Rokani doesn't want Erik ten Hag to be sacked. But my reason for not wanting Erik ten Hag to be sacked was to protect the incoming manager. They've confirmed us that Ruud van Nistelrooy is really going to be the interim. He's not going to be a permanent manager for the club of Manchester United. You understand? So now, don't you think the new manager is going to come and inherit the same mess that is at Manchester United? You get? And my big question is on Ineos. By putting Erik ten Hag onto the reason to be sacked, you know, by putting Erik ten Hag on pressure to be sacked towards the end of last season and recruiting him at the beginning of the summer of this year, that means they had recruited a new manager because they had thoughts of really sacking him. You understand? Then after that, they've worked with him for how many months? July, August, September, October. 4 months. They've gone ahead to sack him. Now, if you've been following what Ineos have always gone ahead to be doing way back in what's the side in at Nice, for the years they've been there, I think they've sacked 5 or 6 managers. Is it gonna be the case at Manchester United that if a manager comes in through and performs very bad, we obviously have to sack him? That's something that we should look into. And the other one is, I've watched this movie before at Manchester United. How is Ineos and Omar Berrada with his experience gonna handle this? You understand? How is he gonna really handle this? Because one, as a manager of Manchester United, as the CEO of Manchester United, you have to look through the past and really understand what has really gone ahead to fail us. And very many questions are really gonna be answered by the new manager. Is the manager responsible for the style of play that United wants to play, or it's the board that has a style of play well stipulated? You get? So those very many questions are going to be answered when a permanent manager is being looked at. And I think they've gone ahead to stipulate it out there very well that Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to be an interim and they're looking in for a permanent manager. And the list so far has 2, Xavi and Nagelsmann. And for me, I don't want a manager at Manchester United who doesn't have a CV of really working with young players. That is it. I want a manager with a CV of working with young players. And because we are having young players at Manchester United, they need that confidence and see things going. And I would love the manager to come in through to obviously touch Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, because they are not playing football anymore. And I want Erik ten Hag that he's trusting these players, but they're really gonna get him sacked. I said this, and you can come in here and obviously defend me, because these players have been trusted by other managers before, and they've gone ahead to be given sacks. You get? Rashford and Bruno Fernandes have gone ahead to sack Erik ten Hag. We failed to win games like the game of Crystal Palace, like the game of Aston Villa, like the game of, there is another draw that we made. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. There is another draw that we made that we would have gone ahead to obviously win those games. You understand? So they have sacked him. If you had won the game of Palace, Ten Hag would have gone ahead to be having, I think, 14 points, would have gone ahead to be like 8th. He would have gone ahead to be here. If you had gone ahead to win yesterday, Ten Hag would have gone ahead to be here. But he stuck with those players, even when they are playing badly, and he kept them on the field of play, and that's why he got himself sacked. Because all of us, we know the level at which Amad Diallo takes this game at. You understand? We know the levels at which the guy takes the level of the game at, and very many other players. You get the integration of Ugarte was a problem. You get, and yet you obviously wanted the CDM, and they brought you the CDM. So I think his principles have costed him. But one thing I've liked about him is that he died on his truth, and deep inside there, him and his family will be like, we are sacked, but we all got sacked on the truth. So we are waiting to see what is really going to be happening. But the fact is, Erik ten Hag is no longer the manager of Manchester United. Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to be conducting the training session tomorrow as Manchester United prepares to obviously take on the side of Leicester City in the Carabao Cup round of 16. And the press conference tomorrow is really going to be very intriguing, because we'll be wanting to hear from Ruud van Nistelrooy as how it feels for him to be replacing a man that called him to obviously come up and obviously do the job. So thank you very much for watching through. But one thing I don't want Ruud van Nistelrooy to be the permanent manager of Manchester United. I don't want that to be made as a decision by Ineos. I want us to make a better, ruthless decision of really getting in a permanent manager, because it's still October and the season can be saved. It's just 9 games, and if the new manager, if we start winning by Chelsea, I tell you, by the time we go to the international break, we'll be having 6 points added, and that will be 17. And I tell you, if we beat Chelsea, remember Chelsea is having is it 16 points? Let me check here. How many points does Chelsea have? Let me check here. Chelsea. I want to know how many points does Chelsea have to show you how we can easily save this season. Chelsea has 17 points, meaning that we beat them on Sunday. United goes to 14, meaning that we are just 3 points behind them. And remember, the likes of Newcastle are really playing big games. Even Arsenal is playing Newcastle. So we still have a chance to save the season. But are we going to be given that new manager? We wait and see whether Ineos is really going for a new manager. But the likes of Zidane are really going to be in the queue. Xavi Hernandez looks like is the more more available option to come in through and obviously take on the club of Manchester United. So I'm out. I'm calling in for your reactions into the comment section below about Erik ten Hag sacked by the club of Manchester United. Finally, he's out. The Dutchman is out. But I've seen fans of United saying, sack the clown. The clown finally is out. This is what you've gonna hate to be doing to previous managers. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and now Erik ten Hag. And it looks like this is a repetitive cycle. And I don't know who is really going to come up and obviously break this cycle. And I hate it when such managers are really given a very bad bye-bye by these players. Now, Ten Hag outers are really happy, but I think Ten Hag deserved to be sacked. That's the fact. Ten Hag deserved the sack, and finally he has gotten it. And I know he's really going to walk out with 17 million quid, but I know it doesn't really come out to say that he's a bad manager. He is not a bad manager. I tell you, he's a very good manager, but he has been working under very, very tough circumstances. For example, look at Unai Emery at Arsenal. You know, he came in when Arsene Wenger really left. I think Arsene Wenger left. Let me check here. Arsene Wenger, I think, went ahead to leave Arsenal. Was it in 20? Arsene Wenger went ahead to leave Arsenal in 2016. You get? He left in 2018, and Unai Emery came in through. He was there for 2018, 2019 first season. Second season, he got himself a sack, and they were like, he's not good. Look at what he's really doing at Aston Villa. So I think every manager thrives under good conditions. And I think this time around, the problem that these people are really going to face at the club of Manchester United, like the people that are going to recruit to convince a manager to come in through in that project that has gonna hate to see very many managers fail, and how they've gonna hate to obviously be let down by players. And I don't know how the next manager is really gonna handle it, because every manager that comes in through looks like he's really gonna solve the equation, especially in the first season, but they fail in the second or the third season where they find themselves sacked. So the third year curse at Manchester United is obviously continuing, because no manager post the Sir Alex Ferguson era has gonna hate to obviously find himself really surviving the third season. I'm out. Bye bye.